Yo, what's up, guys?
Good morning, guys.
Morning. Mr. Manu, longest time.
Yeah, what's up, Ify? What's happening?
I'm fine, sir.
I'm doing
Hi,
well.
how you doing?
Fine.
How's everything?
Awesome. Great.
Mm.
Is it that there's usually low turnout for the class or
People will
a
start
lot
coming
of
in.
people come late?
People will start coming in. Maybe it's their network.
All
I've
right,
reached
cool.
out. I'm reaching. I'm trying to reach out to my guys also.
All right. Because the class will be ending early today, so I
Okay,
have
okay.
a meeting to join in.
Mm.
So in the next 2 minutes, we are going to begin the class. That'll be by 9:10, so that we can head over to the business of the day. All right, so let's proceed. Okay, so in the last class, you guys had earlier discussions about props, right? And okay, so you had a discussion about props and hooks, React hooks, right? So let me just see your emojis if that was what you discussed last class. Awesome. So simply put, we have also talked about components, right? All right, nice. So I'll need someone in the class to tell me what components are in React. What are components? Because that's like a very important thing you need to know before you understand hooks and props. Can someone tell me? You can write it in the chat. I'll also read it out. But if you want to unmute your mic and speak, you can. Because it's been a while I was here, and then I need to know your current state.
Yes.
Yeah, Rufai, proceed.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay. Like component are like let me see the building block of React applications. So and we have like type of component. We have the functional component and the class component. So um the this thing the functional component they are like used for this thing rendering UI and React hooks like use state, use effect and all that. So basically, they are component building blocks of React applications.
Yeah, sure, makes sense. So that's what components are. And then here are the simple reason why we need components. We mostly use React to build like SPA, right? So SPA stands for single page application, whereby you don't have to route to different pages. Only you just can stay in one single place, and then things are changing within your app based on the states or based on some effects that is happening within your React application. So that's why we need components, so that we can be able to break our application into like smaller blocks. And then these smaller blocks hold the piece of information and then the logic and also the UI of what we want to look at that particular location. And then we manipulate it based on the current data that we have or based on the current action if a user close a button or stuff like that. So let's use this web page as an example. So let me share my screen. So hope you all can see my screen. Good. So let's use this, my current page that I am as an example. So this page can be an SPA application, or let's say Google Meet is an SPA application. This particular sidebar will be a component. This whole page or this whole side will be also be a component. And then there's a UI here, and then the logic for whatsoever is happening here, we are going to handle it in this particular component. So take, for example, if I type a message here and I say hello, uh, everything is being handled within the component, right? That is taking my message to sending it to the back end, and then to display it here for me. It's happening in this particular component. And then based on the particular effects that a user do, maybe let's say click on this button, we can change how the whole SPA is going to look like. That's a single page application, right? That was the concept of components. But then coming to hooks and props, they are used within components because building a single page application, remember I told you all these different components have data that can be manipulated inside of them or data that can be passed to them, right? So you can use props to pass these particular informations to your components. Are we together? Like take for example, let's explain using these boxes that contains your profile picture and your name. Now, this is a particular React component that is just built, let's say once, and then they styled it. So anytime a particular user joins this application, joins the meeting, remember, if somebody is not in the meeting, we are not going to see his box here or his style here. But let's say a new person joins the meeting right now, we can successfully see his profile picture and then his name also. How is that able to happen? Using React components. So anytime we want to display a component, we can pass data to it, but it's fully optional using the props and also hooks. So let me search W3 schools. Uh, or React. Okay, so let's see what hooks are. Can you see my screen? Please, is it just Rufai or is it everyone? So signify, let me know. Okay, that means Habib can hear me. So Rufai, just leave the call. All right, so let's proceed. So we said props are used to maybe pass data to a particular component, right? But then what are hooks now? So hooks allow function components to have access to states and other React features. So hook allows us to hook into React features such as states and life cycle methods. So that's what React hooks are. So they give us access to the React state, that is the current state of our application. So since it's a single page app, it is being managed by a single state. And then that state is what is going to determine what is happening in the application. What is being so hooks give us access to that, right? And then I'm sure you guys have checked about other these hooks. Uh, the use state, use effect, use context, use ref. Though I'm sure you have made use of use state and use effect, but I can't say for context and the rest. And then finally, you can create your own custom hook. You can create your custom hook in React. That is the hook that fits your own um, description of how you want your page, your single SPA to be handled. You can build it your own way and then give your app that state. So let's check out the use state hook first and foremost, which is like the very, very most common hook that everyone uses. And then one thing with these hooks is that you need to understand the use of each of the different ones so that you won't be conflicting it. Because some people might get confused, maybe when they want to use states, they don't know whether it's to use ref or use context in that particular place. So when it comes to hooks, you need to be mindful of what you are working with and then what hook you want to use at that time. So use states, like the name imply, is just used to manage your states. So it's just now. So take for example, you have a counter app, and then you want to keep states of the current count. That is maybe you have a counter app that anytime a user clicks a button, you want to manage or increase a particular count. So you can simply manage the states of maybe starting it from 0. And then anytime a user clicks on the button, you can be able to change the state by incrementing that number by 1. And then it's going to keep maintaining that state for you. And so let's just check this out and see how it works. I believe you guys are already React gurus now, so we shouldn't be wasting time doing a lot of talking. Okay, so I have to create like a new React app. So what are you guys working with? What do you guys use in spinning your project? Is it Create React app or Vite or Vite?
I use Byte.
Okay, use Vite, right? All right, so let's just do that ASAP. Let me get my terminal. Yep. All right, so to spin up a new Vite app, I can just do npm create Vite at latest. All right, so let me. So it's asking me for a project name, and then I will just say learning React. Yeah, and then I want to spin up a React app, and then I want to use JavaScript plus SWC. So it's telling me. So let me code learning React. Okay, sorry. Perfect. All right. So these are newly generated React boilerplates. I hope everyone in this class can be able to do this. If you can't, just signify so that I can maybe go over it. All right. But I hope everyone knows how to spin up a new React project. Nice, nice. All right, so let's proceed. So I spin up my React project, and then this is it. So I can go to my SRC, and then the first thing I have to do is do npm install. Why am I doing npm install? Can someone tell me?
to install all your dependencies.
All right, nice. So to install like all the dependencies to start with, simply because this is a framework. So let's just wait for that to go through, and then we proceed. So I think on default, this is a counter app. So you can see basically what I'm explaining. Oh my God, the network these days is very crazy. Like just to spin up a React project and to install dependencies. Memory leak. All right, so while we are just waiting for this to go through, anatomy of this application. So this is a simple React app, and then you know the drill. This is your package.json where you can see all your dependencies and also the setup for your project, your scripts. This is the index.html file, and then but this is the main app, right? The source folder that later breaks down to become this guy. So now let's check out the app.jsx, which is like the entry point of our application. Or the entry point is this guy, which is main.jss, but then the whole app is wrapped in this app components, right? I said component. Yeah. So this is it. And then this is the use state hook being used here to manage the count. So on default, this application like has a counter app that has a button. So if you understand the code, you can see the button here, which says count, and then to tell you what the current count is. And then when you click on this count, it runs the onClick function, which is to set count. And set count is just changing the states, taking the current count and adding it +1. So you can see the current count here. And then the function to change the states. So this is how to set your use states. States, and then what you can use to change the states, the function to change the states. And then the initial state was set to 0. So on load of this page, everything is going to be, the count is going to be 0. But then anytime this button is clicked, the count is going to be +1, which is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it is being run inside of this set count. And set count is just changing the state of count from 0 to the next number, like that, as you keep going. So this is currently installed. So let me run my app. I'll do npm run dev, the normal drill, so I can view my app. Or what's happening? Okay. I have this problem that I always have to use sudo. All right, so my app is currently loaded on ports 5173, and then this is it. So currently this is a single page application, right? And then this is the boilerplate with this button that we can click, and then the count is going to increment. So this is the initial state of count, which is 0. If I click on this, you see it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So what is helping us manage this is the use state hook, which manages the state of the current count. So to use the use state hook, you first destructure it with this guy, which has this constant in an array. So the first element of the array is the count. And then the count is the current, let's say, elements that you want to set the state for. So it mustn't necessarily be count. It can be anything. And then next, the next element of an array is the function that can help you update that particular state. The function to update the state, right? And then that's just the final element inside the array. So this is the use state now. And then in the use state is just a function that accepts the state. So if you accept the state, it's going to store that state, and then this set count can, or this function can be able to manipulate that state. So anytime it manipulates the state, this guy takes a new current value that can be displayed. So let's clean this up, and then let's do it by our own self, right? So that we understand how everything works. So clean that up. Nice. So I don't need all these guys. I don't even need the app.css. I just need the empty functional component, right? Which is the app. So if I come back to this, you can see it's just some blank guy, and then there's nothing there. So how do we set the states? Well, let's build a very simple UI. And then this UI is going to be, let's say it is going to be a div. And then this div is going to have h1. So the h1, let's put the current count there. Let's say maybe 1, because I want it to be big, or let's say 0. And then let's create the button. So this is the button that is going to add count. So this is the increment button. Let's say increment. Good. And then let's head over to our UI and see what that looks like. So this is it. A very big 0 and then increment. Let me try to style this. All right. So let's not do any UI for now. It's going to take much of our time. So, but then this is just it, right? A very big 0 and then the button to increment it. Hope you all can see my screen. Let me just see your emojis if you can. Can you see my screen? All right. Somebody should please answer Rufai. He has been there. All right. So this is what it looks like, an increment. Just nothing at all. The button is not working. This guy is not changing. Nothing is happening at all. So first and foremost, we are going to use the use state hook. So the use state is going to manage this current number, which is 0. And then anytime this increment button is being clicked, this 0 is going to change, or this 0 is going to add +1 or +2, depending on the number we set, right? So let's do that. So first and foremost, the most important thing to use is the use state. We use the use state hook to be able to manage the states. So how do we use the use state hook? Let's say use states. But first, the most important thing is to import it. So we can import use state from React. So let's say how do they do it? Use states. Okay, yeah. But that's just a shortcut way to do that. So you just say import, then you bring in the use state from React. So we are getting use states from React, right? And then we come here and then we set our states. So let's say states, let's use number here, and then let's say set number. So this is our state, and then this is the function that we change the state. So let's say use states. So we are using the use state function, and then we are setting this automatically to 0. So setting this to 0 gives number an automatic state of 0. So if I want to see the state of 0, or let me make this dynamic. I can just remove this 0 and replace this with number. So if I replace this with number coming here, you can still see that same 0 here, even though I refresh. Simply because the current state of this is 0. But I can also choose to change this to maybe, let's say, 5. So the initial state will be 5 now. Can you see that here? Are we together? Are we together, guys? Nice, nice. So you can see that currently as 5. But in this case, we just want to set this to 0. So it's going to set number to what? To 0. And then we are putting number in the H1. So that's what makes it dynamic. Right? And then anything the current state is what is going to display here. So that's how we have set our React app currently. So let's create a function that can be able to change the number. I can do a const here and then create a function that is maybe increment. So the name of this function is increment. And then what would this function do? So this function is going to set number, which is changing the state of number plus 1. So first is going to say, let's do this in smaller blocks so that you all are going to understand. So maybe let's say new number. Let's say new num is equals to number. So you know number currently now is 0, right? And number is our state plus 1. So this would be new num or new number. And then we can just set number to what? To be equals to new number. This is a long method. We can also choose to do it this way. Instead of what I just did here is taking the current state of number, adding it plus 1, and then saving it in a new variable. And then I'm updating set number. But then I can do it a better way by not saving it in a variable. I will just take out new number and set it inside of set number. So instead of inserting new number there, I'll just say number plus 1. So that's me setting the new state. So I've created a function that can help me do that. But then finally now I have to work with this button, which is the button that is going to accept this function and help me call this function every time. The onClick method on this. And then I will say anytime somebody clicks the button, it should what? Increment. It should call the increment function. And then the incrementation function is setting the state of number. And the number is, the new state of number is number plus 1. So whatsoever the state of number is, which is at the initial is 0, if we click on this increment button, it's going to call the increment function. And then the increment function is going to set number to be number plus 1. So in this case, number plus 1 is 0. So 0 plus 1, the number, this function is going to set number to what? To 1. And then our new state of number is going to be 1. And then on our UI, we can be able to see 1 here. So let me try to click this and let's see. So can you see? Anytime I click on this button, this number is going to change from the current state of number to number plus 1. So currently is at 1, meaning if I click on this, it's going to be 2. So let's go next. Like that, like that, like that. So that's how you use state to manage the current state of your application. So you can do this in separate ways. Maybe let's say when a user comes to your app and then he clicks a particular button, using this example now of Google Meet, right? So this particular component can be managed with a state. So take for example, we can say anytime a user clicks on this button, if a user clicks on this button, we should take off this sidebar from the application so that nobody can be able to see it, right? So if I do that right now, that's the same thing that is happening in this application. If I click on this now, you can see that it is out of the app, right? Simply what they did there was that they used state to manage it, maybe using a boolean, true or false. And then they say anytime somebody clicks on that button, it should set the current state of that sidebar to be false. And then anytime the sidebar state is as false, it might set it to hidden. And then you cannot be able to see the sidebar any longer. So that's how you use states to manage React components. So we have done this for what now? To increment counts. So maybe we can try out the sidebar and use state to manage it. Except you all have done it before. So I need to hear like your response so far, or you want us to proceed with that. So let me hear from you guys. All right. Okay, so you guys are very familiar with Tailwind, right? Okay, so Isa is not too familiar. And then you people know how to set up your Tailwind in your React app. That is, you can use React with Tailwind. Can you?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, but a lot of you don't know how to. Yeah, using npm. Yes, Ruben. Using npm to install it. So now let's just try to do that. It's very easy. So let's say I just go to Google and tell Google install Tailwind invite React app. And then it's going to take me to where I can do that. Good. So this is it. And then using npm. So I've set up my project already, but then I just head over to do npm install -d tailwind css, post css, and auto prefixer. So that I have all of those. But if you're not using auto prefixer and the rest, you can just take them out. What will happen is I'll split. I like doing this so that this guy can be running here, and I'll be seeing the state of my application here, and then I can install my dependencies here. So let me head over to install this, but then I'm having a problem with my laptop that I have to use sudo. It's an npm problem. So mostly I myself don't like using npm for this. I use yarn for my front-end apps so that I will run into issues. But if you're not using yarn, it's still fine. npm is perfect. I prefer npm myself.
What's the difference in npm and YAM?
All of them are the same thing. They are all package managers. You get.
I heard you were saying you don't want to run into problem. What kind of problem can someone run into using npm?
Yeah. So there's a permission issue, but it has to do with my laptop and npm, right? It's a familiar issue with Mac and npm. So people used to find problem with that. So maybe you are running a particular version of npm. Anytime you run npm install something, it's not going to run for you. It's going to tell you there's no permission. Even though you set the permission, no, it will still persist. So you have to use sudo. So for those of you using Ubuntu, you know that sudo is like the almighty guy, right? Sudo is like the, let's say, the administrator of your OS, of your operating system. So anytime you use sudo, whatsoever issues on the way, whatsoever permission issue, it will automatically pass it for you if you provide your laptop password. But then it's nothing you have to worry about for now. If you're not running into the problem, don't worry. And then Yan
Yeah,
and this guy
I'm using
and
Ubuntu,
NPM.
so I don't think I'm facing any problem like that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I've installed that. So next step, let me initialize it so that I can have the tailwind, what's it called? A tailwind.config file, and also the post CSS and the rest. Good. So I have it. And then next in my tailwind.config to add this, which is going to expose my index.html file to my styling. So head over to tailwind.config, and then this content, I will just change it. And then I'm good to go. Okay. Then finally, I add this in my index.css file and then rerun my application so that it's going to load all my this, and then I can start styling. So my index.css, I'm going to clear this and paste this guy there. And then I'm going to have tailwind styling. So you see my style has changed in my app. Let's head over. Good. So can you see? Everything has changed. But then the functionality is still working. So now let's start styling. Yeah. So app.jsx, and then this is it. So I can just set my class, set this to display of flex, set my width to full, set my height to screen, so that it's going to be full height. So don't mind my tailwind if I'm pretty fast. The fact is I've been writing tailwind for long and I love tailwind, right? So let me also set my BG to gray. Let's say gray or line 400. And let's see what it looks like. Oh, what's happening? So let me start my app. Okay. So I've installed this. I've set these guys also. What's wrong? All right, let me start the app. npm sudo npm run there. Good. So my style is clear and everything is nice now. Let's see flex dash call. No, let's make this normal flex. And then let's set this class to width of 4/12, and then background of white, p of 5. Yep. And then I make it flex call. Yeah. So let me insert this number and this guy in there. Then we see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, good. This is what I want to do. So let's also set our button. All right, same logic, same everything. But then now what I want to do is I want to create a new component, or I'm going to set like a button here that anytime I click on it, it will close this increment component and nobody will see it. And anytime we come on this page on default, we can be able to see it. So how can we use state to do that? Let's try it out. All right. So first and foremost, let's set up the button, maybe a close button. How can I do that? I don't want to set up React icons. So maybe let's use a button that says close. Yeah, so if you click on this button, it's going to close the page, right? So let's style it. Let's make the text to red, and then align it to the end. Perfect. So if you click this, it's going to close, right? That's just what I want to set here. So let's use this now to set the state. So I can just use this. Maybe let's call this a modal and then set the state. So maybe let's say modal and then set modal. So use states. So on default, I can use true or false to set this, right? And then maybe on default, I can say it is true. So maybe when you first come to the page, I want you to see the modal. But then I can create a function that says close modal. And then in this function, I'm going to close the modal. How do I do that? I just set modal to what? False. Anytime you call on that function. So I can also use my operators to be able to handle how this page is going to be displayed, maybe based on the particular state that it is currently. So I can handle this whole component. So can you see why I wrapped it under? I wrapped it as this because I want to write a JavaScript code here. That's why I'm wrapping it in this, what's it called? Curly braces. So I can just say modal and double ampersand. So what this simply means is I'm telling React that if modal is true, display this component. If modal is false, that is, if modal is false, it's not going to display this component. And on default, this guy is true, right? So if you come here, you can be able to see this my components, right? But then what if I change the state here to false at the beginning? Can you see? It's no longer showing there. right? But then I can be able to make it true, and then you will see it. Simply because I use this double ampersand, and then the current state of modal here is true. Just like how the current state of this number, when you first load this page, is going to be 0. That's how the current state of modal is true, right? So down here, all I'm telling this guy is, hey, in a dynamic form, modal true. If it's true, show this page. If it's false, don't show it. That's what's happening here. So obviously, what's just happening here is saying true and this. So we can just say maybe we can also do it this way. So if modal equals to true and this, but let's just make it this confusing. Let's not make it confusing. Let's leave it this way. By using this double ampersand, show us this. If it's true, show this. If it's not true, don't show it. Right? That's why you are able to see this. And then I can be able to, maybe in this close, pass the function to close the modal. Right? And then I'll just say on click. Then I'll just say close modal inside of it. Same way I did with this increment function button. So what you need to do here is, if I click this, it's going to change the current state of the modal to false. And then the React is not going to be able to display it, because I've tied the display of this particular modal to a state that says if the modal state is true, it should display it. If it's false, it should not. So anytime it's false, you are not going to see this on the page. So let's click on this button. Can you see? It's gone. And then if I refresh it, simply because the current state of the app when you first load it is that this modal is what? True. That's why you can see it. But then I can use this close button to turn it off. And then when I click on this, it's no longer there, right? So that's how you can use state to manage like data, manage your components in your particular application, etc. That's how you can do it. So in React, you can extract this guy, this div out to be its own sectional React component somewhere. So I can create a new component here, pack this styling, put it in there, and then after passing it there, then I can be able to display just the components here, just to make my app modular, and then make it easy to understand and people to know what I'm doing. So that will be the next step of what we will do. Then inside of it, we are going to pass the close modal and increment as prop into that particular component. So if we pass it as prop, then we can be able to manipulate it in the component, right? Instead of manipulating it here, so that we can make this app.js more cleaner. Are we together? And hope I'm not confusing you guys. If I am, just let me know now so that we'll stop further confusion, right? Hello.
So I can hear you. Can continue.
I hope that you guys are not confused. That's my question.
Yeah.
And whatever I'm saying, you guys understand it in React, or you heard of it.
Yeah, we do.
All right, because I'll be asking questions, so you guys better say
Sorry.
it now,
Okay.
so I will know.
Okay. Just touch it small again. We touch it small again.
All right. So I should come over again, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Don't
little
really
bit fast.
understand.
Yeah, a little bit fast.
Okay. So we are talking about React component and React props and also React hooks. So the main topic of today's discussion is supposed to be React hooks and props. right? But then I can't explain hooks and props without explaining React components. So in the first place, I asked what React components are, and then Rupai answered and said they are modular parts of our React application. And then I fully agree with that. That's what React components are. Modular parts. Simply because before, if you remember when you were building your normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript apps, right? When you want to build your different pages, let's say your login page, you have to build like a different page for it. When you want to build your landing page, you have to go and design a whole landing, create a new file, write the whole landing page and create it, right? And then maybe let's say when you want to build about us page, we're also going to create a new file, create the about us page inside, right? And then when the user comes to our application, if he clicks on about us, we'll route the user to about us page. If we clicks on what's it called? If he clicks on contact us page, we'll take him to contact us. If he clicks on landing page, we are going to show the landing page. That's what is happening in our normal applications that we're building with HTML and CSS. But there's a problem with that, simply because this loading state is quite a problem. Is to load those kind of applications are very, very slow. How? Maybe let's say when a user switch to about us page and then we are getting the data from the server. When he goes to the about us, he has to query the server first for the server to go and fetch all the information that is supposed to be on about us and then display it for us. And then that particular approach is very slow because anytime we are switching pages or switching sites, we have to hit the server. But then React and other frameworks are here to solve a single particular problem. That is helping us build single page applications. So how can we build single page applications? And what are single page applications? Right? So single page applications are those applications that have a single page or a single entry point. And then every other thing is managed in that single entry point. Now, let me show you the anatomy of a React application. In this app that I created, you all can create React apps, right? In this app that I spin up with Vite, on default, this index.html file is the entry point of your application. So everything you write on React is going to be broken down here and is going to be turned back to a single JavaScript, to a normal HTML and CSS app that you know. Hope we know that. So let's make that clear. Because you know that they tell you JavaScript is a framework for, React is a framework for JavaScript, right? Hello? Good. So you were told React is a framework for JavaScript, right? How is it a framework for JavaScript? What is happening behind the scene? When they say framework, they mean that it was built with something that was just going to make things easier. So your React that you see is built with normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript behind the scene. Just like how in your Bootstrap or in your Tailwind CSS, like we explained to you guys initially, it is built on default with normal CSS. So Tailwind CSS, the code is going to break down and become normal CSS. And it's your normal CSS that the browser is going to understand, right? Good. Same thing with Tailwind, same thing with React. Your React is built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript behind the scene. And then anytime you write your React application, it breaks down to that normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript so that the browser is going to understand it. And then when your React breaks down, finally, it's going to turn out to be this page. Do people understand what's happening in this whole page? Can you see this page? This index.html. If you check that page closely, you understand that it's your normal HTML and CSS page, right? Please, people should talk like with your voice. I'm not on the tab.
Yeah, we are understanding.
Yes, yes, we can hear
Perfect.
you.
Okay, so in this page is your normal Java HTML file. There's nothing the same thing. Your head, your body, your script tag, right? So this is like the main JavaScript. So all the JavaScript will be writing here. All those use states at the end of the day, they will break down and come back to this main.jsx. And then that's where all our JavaScript is loaded from. And then you see this ID of root. This is where the whole of our application that we wrote inside of this SRC is going to be broken down into. And then our page, our app is going to turn fully just into a simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript app. That's what's happening in React. So back to what we were doing before. In React, what is happening is we can break our apps since it's a single page application and everything is going to be managed within the same place. We can break all the different states of our app into components. How we want the components to look like. Maybe let's say if you go to Facebook, right? I don't have a Facebook account. So let's use Twitter, for example. So let me head over to my Twitter page or X, as you people might call it. So I'm on X. So can you see? Oh, wait. Nice. Something is happening here. So let me reload this page again. Notice something. When the page start loading, can you see that all the different parts are coming differently, right? The parts are not coming at once, like how you will load your own normal app. If you build your own app, notice something. If you build your own normal HTML and CSS app, merely you load it, everything will just show, right?
Yes, yes.
But then, good. But then here, when we reload and the app is loading, the things are going to be coming one after the other. Do you know how this is being handled? It's with React components. Simply because in React, this whole sidebar will be a component. This whole part of the page will be a component. This single thing will be a component. This one will be a component. This one will be a component. So all of these are going to be styled differently. And then the data inside of them are going to be managed differently. But then at the end of the day, they are going to be loaded in a single page. And then based on what is happening in the application, is going to be determined, is going to be managed by the particular state. Like take for example, in this app, this page, this current post now, I have not liked it, right? But how can this be managed? How can the state be managed? If I like this, notice that the button is going to turn red. For those of you that are using Twitter, if I click on like, the button is going to turn red. How does the state of the application turn to red? Simply because it is being managed within the application to check if me that is logged in on Twitter have liked this post or not. So it will check, has Manoah liked this post? If he has liked it, show the like button red. If he has not liked it, show the like button to be normal. So watch, I click. Can you see? It has changed the like button to red. And even though I refresh on this page and come back, though new different things I've loaded, right? But if I try to maybe scroll back and try to find that particular if I try to scroll down and find that particular post, I will see a like on it. I don't think I might even find that post. Twitter algorithm is crazy. So
You
anytime
can
you
go to your
reload, it
likes
show you
and
like
check it.
maybe my profile page, right? So if people know how to tweet, how to use Twitter as users, understand how to use Twitter as developers. Good. So I can see it in my likes. Good. So can you see the posts I like? And then it's being shown in my likes. Simply because the state is being managed within the application. A lot of things are happening. They are checking bunch of stuffs using the states and then the data that is being loaded from the back end. So single page applications are very, very fast simply because they don't always have to go to the back end to fetch information. So information as stored within the state of the application. So when you load the application once, the application will go to the server, collect whatsoever information it wants to take, so that it won't have to load the second time and stress itself, and then save all those things within the app. And then if you save it within the app, any action that is happening, the state are going to be manipulated. Like explaining this simple term. Let me click on this. Notice, when I first reload this page, it is going to be the first and last time it will go to the server to pick my information. That's why it was loading all those things. But subsequently, if I start navigating stuffs and clicking stuffs, it doesn't do all those loading or all those stress to go back and be picking information and be doing some bulk updating in the server. It will do everything within the React application so that everything will be as fast as possible without having to stress the server. But building your normal app with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you always have to query the server to get these informations. And then every time you are querying the server, things are going to keep getting slow. That's why you will go to some applications and you will be complaining. E.g., maybe let's say Jam. Go to Jam and then a lot of things are taking time to load. Simply because they didn't manage. Every time they are doing things, they are always going to the back end to save informations, to pick informations. So that's a lot of stress. And then if a lot of people are stressing the back end, it will keep getting slow. And then the cost of bringing response back to users is going to be very, very slow. And then that's what makes your application slower. But why not let's manage this in one single state? Let's just go to the server once, pick the information, bring it to scope, and then with that, we can be able to show the user, manipulate some things, and then the user can be able to use his app fast as possible, make changes, query whatsoever he wants to query, close any mode that he wants to close in a fast and easy manner. That's just what React is doing. And then these components now, I told you, since they are single pages, we build React in single chunks as components. And then we can be able to manage these components with props and hooks. So hooks can manage like the general state of the application, while props can be used to pass data to these components. Are we together?
Yes.
Cool. All right, so let's see how we then did that in our main app. So what I'm going to do now is particular guide to a component and then pass it to be a prop so that we all are going to understand what's happening, right? I just hope I don't confuse you guys anymore, because you people haven't had like a full grasp of JavaScript fully, but you're already in React. So you have to mind the way you are trying to learn. You have to balance the two. While you are doing the React, still be checking your JavaScript, because that's what's important. The JavaScript is just like you knowing CSS. If you know CSS, you will know Tailwind very well. Same thing with React. If you know normal JavaScript, you will know React very well, right? So while you are doing React, which makes everything faster, do well to always check your JavaScript so that you are going to be in sync. I understand what you are doing. So in 40 minutes, we are going to be rounding up the class. That's simply because I have a very important meeting I have to join by 11. So back to this explanation. Let me clear this. I really don't know what to do now. Because if I create a component and transfer this in there, it might confuse you guys. But then let's do that. So I'm going to create a new component. And what we do is we create components in the component folder. So I create a new component folder just to keep my app modular. And then I'm going to create a component that the name of the component is modal. So let's say modal.gsx. Right? So to create a React component, I have this that does it for me. It can help me create a React functional component and export it by just doing this, by just typing RFCE. But then if I don't want to, I can do this the normal way that you know, right? So const, what's it called? Modal. So this is my component. And then let me export this. Let me export modal. Let me export modal and then let me return. So basically you see your React, this is just a function, right? But then the function at the end of the day is returning a component. And then that component is your normal HTML and CSS that you write inside of there. So maybe we are returning a H4 that says modal. Right? So this is it. And then I'm going to import the famous React guy from React. And then I'm good to go. So I've spin that in what RFC did for me. Yeah, Rufai, let me hear from you.
Yeah, so please, what's the use of that arrow function in when you're creating your function? Because personally, this is the first time I'm seeing you you don't used to use arrow function.
Okay, you don't use arrow function, right?
Yes. Like
Did you generate it yourself?
what's the use?
So this is just a component. It's just a React component. I asked you guys earlier on if you know how to build components, right? And you explained to me what functional components are. So what I just built now is a functional component.
Yes.
But then is your question that so your question is if I'm allowed to use when creating functional components, I should use arrow function for it.
Like this that is equals to and that arrow, yes, that arrow function.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
After the normal bracket. Can you hear me, sir?
After the
Yeah, after this normal bracket, after const modal is equals to the normal bracket, like this function, this arrow function that is there, like
which one? This one, this return.
no, before the return, after const modal is equals to then the bracket, the normal bracket.
Yeah.
After the normal bracket, then that sign between the bracket and the curly braces.
Arrow function.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That normally I like this just I you say this is even my first time of seeing. If I want to create this function, I'll just put after the normal bracket, then
You
the
just
curly
use this guy
braces.
instead.
Yes, the curly braces and that As in, that row function will be removed. Just the normal bracket and the curly braces.
like this,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
That's, there are two ways of creating functions in JavaScript, right?
Yes,
The normal this way, using the function keyword, or creating an arrow function, right?
I don't know that some can use it also in React. Okay.
You get?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
can work with this, and then you can also work with the normal arrow function too. So long as it's a
Okay.
function, it's a functional component. It just wants it to be a function.
Okay, I get, sir. Thank you.
You get the point? Anybody can be able to access. So let me try to use that component in this app. So maybe down here, I can just say modal. And then automatically, this is where I'm getting modal from, right? So if I click on this, it will import modal for me. Can you see where modal? Simply because I exported it here. So you can be able to access modal, right? And then I brought modal here and I want to display modal in this my app. So let's head over and see modal. Good. Can you see it here? Written, right? Modal. So that's how I designed the components. Anything I change here, I say modal, hello. You come here, you can be able to see it, right? So I'm doing this simply because I want to take out the whole style in here and take it inside this modal, just to make my app modular. I don't want to choke a lot of styles. So first things first, this is what I want to take out. So first, let's even take out this modal and save. So if I copy this whole code, Control X, and then I go to modal, exchange the whole code here to this guy. And then I head over to, all right, so let's take all these guys out because that's what is showing the page not showing, simply because he wants to use it, but he can't find it. Good. So can you see now? We can be able to see this, and we have taken it back to. So we have made our app modular. So if I comment on this modal now, I come here, you won't see it. If I comment here back, you see, you can be able to see it, right? That's just React. This is just a very basic and simple React component. And then I want to manipulate this component within my app by simply say, when I click a button, I want this component to show. And then when the component show, I want to pass a particular prop to it. And then the prop is going to be the number that I want to show here. And then next, the prop is also going to be a function that is going to help me increment this. Now notice when I click on this, nothing is going to happen. That's simply because I haven't set these guys. But I have created the function that manage the state and do all these things. For those of you who are in the class earlier on, you understand what we're doing, why we created number, set number, and the rest. But I can also take this out, and then let's try it properly. So let me take it out. Good. Now we are good to go. So nothing works. You click here, click there, nothing works. But I want to make my app modular. So I created all my style, put it in here so that all the data is here. And then here I have the network, right? But then all my functionalities are going to be written here, and then I'll pass it here and then use it in the other side. So now with React, you can see that if I want to create another, maybe a new modal that looks like this, I can just be able to copy this modal and just paste it at the bottom. And then you see I have this same design here without having to stress and say I'm building this from scratch again, right? I can, so anywhere I want to use this within my app, I can be able to do it. I can put it all three here. I can be able to create a div or another page, put it there, depending on how I just want to view it. So
Please, can you come again, please?
So React components, like we explained earlier on, they are used to create modular code, modular parts of our code. Simply because I was explaining the concept of why we need the React for you guys. We need the React to build single page application. And single page application are made possible by building with components. Now, these components are just modular part of our code. So instead of we creating a HTML and CSS file and then writing this whole code inside of it, designing this button and this modal, put the close, write the function, everything, doing it like this. Why not let's just create smaller components of these applications and then fit it into the main page? So that's just what we are working with, right? So we created this and designed it in a different component called modal.gss, and then this modal has that we did in this modal. That's why we can be able to see this guy here and this zero. So the next thing I want us to do is that I want us to create the functionalities that is going to handle this. That's the functionalities that we increment, the functionality that we are going to do it with within the main entry point of the app, and then pass it to this component so that this component can be able to manage all those stuff for us. You understand the concept? So let's head over now to do that. So here is the modal. So now let's write the functionality first and foremost, the function to change the number. And then I told you guys we use state to manage that, right? So when creating a use state, I told you destructure it with the array. First, we are going to set the state, which is going to be the number. So the number we want to be manipulating, that is this number. This number, this 0. So we'll set it as a state. So here, number, and then the function that can be able to change number, which is set number. And then we are going to say equals to use state. And then we'll set the state to 0. So on default, when you come to our app, we want number to be 0, right? But then this is just dummy data. We want to make it dynamic. How can we make it dynamic? Now we are going to work with props. So we can use props to pass in data to a particular component. So now instead of using 0 here, let's pass in number to this modal so that this modal is going to display number here. How can we be able to do that? We are going to create a prop for this component. And you create a prop here, right? So by creating a prop, I can just do this. What's it called? The object button, which is just to destructure it. So props is an object, right? I can also do props dot, well, maybe the name. Maybe I say props dot number, like that. But this is like the best method I like using. So I can just do this way and then insert number inside. And then at the end of the day, I will put number here. So instead of 0, I want it to display number, whatsoever number is. But the number is not anything here, simply because this is just a prop, and then we have not passed in the main prop that we want to pass to this application, to this component. So how can we pass a prop to this component? So what's just happening here is that we are just building a boilerplate, and then we are telling our app that, hey, anytime this component is visible, this component is going to come with a prop. And then this prop has a prop of number, and then we are going to display the number as the current number here. That's why this is built like a normal function. Do you notice that this is just a normal function? Look at it. Your normal arrow function that is accepting a parameter, and this parameter is an object that has number inside. And then your function at the end of the day is just returning a CSS or HTML and CSS file, or HTML and CSS div. That's just what this functional component is doing. That's the concept of components, right? So now let's try to pass a prop to a component. So I just head over here, and then this way I'm using modal, but I'm not passing any prop to it, so I can just pass it here and say number is equals to this number here. So anything that this number is going to be number inside of this component. So let me write number here. So can you see? Now it's showing you 0. So if I change this state now to 5, see now it's showing you 5. If I change this number to 15, it's showing you 15. That's simply how this prop is being managed. Now, I can do this multiple ways. I can create a new modal, copy and paste it here, but then the prop I will pass here is no number. I can pass a hard-coded value here, let's say 200. And then you see the same component, but then they will have 2 different numbers within them. Now watch out. Can you see? This one is the same thing, but it has 15. This one is the same thing, but it has 200 here. Do we understand the concept of props? So we are teaching some people applying on creating a game. That makes sense. So we React, I would say that's like the first thing people have to start creating games. Start building simple games. Yeah. So with the concept of use states, you people are understanding what is happening, right? Perfect, 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 perfect. So I can choose to also create a new state, that is add another this same modal, and then change the number, put maybe like 1000 inside. And anytime it's going to display it as anytime I keep doing this, it gives me 2 different things with the particular, what is the particular prop I'm passing there is what is going to work with. Are we together? I hope we understand, because I'm proceeding on to the next, and I'm taking out these 2, because in this case, what I'm using is number. So now let's try to work on this incrementing. So next thing, let's build our prop to accept a function. So this function is going to be the increment function. This function is going to be the increment function. So what we can just do easily here is just say increment. This is just a dummy. So the real function has not been created, but this just telling the component that, hey, there's a function here called increment. And anytime somebody passes a function here, just increment. So we can create a function here that says increment. And then back to our app.jsx, where we can create the main increment function. So I can just do it here and say const increment. And then the work of this function is that this function is going to change the states. So we just say set number, same thing we did before, to number plus 1. So how can I pass this now into the modal? Somebody should tell me how. Let me hear from you guys. Somebody to tell me how to do
Pass it
this.
as a prop.
So let's pass at the prop. How do we do that? I will head over there, then you explain for me while I do it.
Okay.
All right. So I'm there. So how do I do it now?
The,
Where
inside
do I
that your
even?
model, inside the model,
Uh-huh.
you give it write like increments or anything like that. Any word you want to use, increment.
Mm-hmm.
Then pass in the increment function there.
Good. So first and foremost, this increment is the name of the prop here.
Yeah.
So if the name of the prop here is function, or we can't use function. If the name of the prop here is increment function, what would the name be here? The name here will still be in app.gss. The name here will not be increment. The name here will be
Yeah.
increment
Increment
function.
function.
Then this function will be what we will pass inside that it is going to run, right? So now watch out now. If I get in here, we have a problem. Okay, yeah, this is the problem. So if I click on increment, watch out. Can you see? It goes from 16 like that. That's we passing a function inside of a prop. So the logic is written here, but then it's being passed in here for anything. So I can choose to do an increment here. Let's say I can do a new component, passing a new function, and then this function is going to be increment by 2, right? But then I want to create, I want to create something different, a new modal. And then this modal, this modal is to increment by 1, right? But then I want a modal that increments by 2. How can I do that? I'll just create a function that can help me increment by 2. So here I'll just do number plus 2, right? And then I will copy and paste this component, paste it here. What is the current state of number? And then I'll change the function. So let's say I want the number to be 0 here. And then I want the function to increment by so now this function here, I will just change and say increment by 2. So anytime we click increment by 2, it's increment by 2. If you click increment by 1, it's increment by 1. So if I click this here, can you notice 2 of them are changing simply because it's the same state they are managing. All of them are number. But if I click this one, it will be incrementing them by 1. If I click this guy, it will be incrementing them by 2. Can you see? And do we understand what's happening? Hello? All right, perfect. So we have like 15 minutes. Let me just take questions. Then we'll do like a few polishing before I leave. I told you guys I have a meeting to join by 11. So let me just take questions, or some of you should tell me what you understand or where you're having problems. Then I will try to fix that because this is very, very important.
So just share us the Tailwind link.
I think the Tailwind, they can get it from the Tailwind documentation.
You said what?
You can get it from the Tailwind documentation.
Okay.
Okay, how to run those installations, right? With Tailwind.
Yes, sir. Uh,
Yo, so let me hear from you guys. No questions, meaning we all understand what's happening, right? And then if assignments are given.
Yeah, I'm fine by everything.
All right. Yeah, Mohammed, let's hear you. Rufai.
Yeah. Okay. One more, you can talk. You can talk.
Okay, so Rufai, let's hear you.
What was routing? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I said was like routing under and this thing SPS.
Routing. That's like the next class. That's like for next class, right? It's written in the yeah. That's for
Alright.
the next. So let's not be too ahead. Let's just focus on props for now. So everyone is familiar and understand props, right? Habib, Fahad, Taibat. Let me know what you understand about props for now. You guys can hear me and you can see my screen, right?
Yeah,
So we can hear you, we can see your screen also.
Okay, so next thing now, let's work with we have done props and components. So if we start introducing a new concept now, it's going to maybe a new hook. It's going to take us long, but then we can just try using a new hook, maybe like the use effects. Good. So if you notice something about the use states, the use state is being managed by a particular function, right? Which is the function that you use to set that particular state. And then the function a function cannot call itself. Something has to happen before a function can be called. Like take for example, when a button is clicked, or maybe you set an interval for JavaScript to help you call the function after the interval, right? That's just the work of use states. And that's how use states manage states for us. But then next, use effects is another hook in React. And then how does use effect work? How does use effect work? So use effect work with, as the name implies, based on if a particular effect happens in React. So just like the use state, the use effect accepts a callback function and then an array of dependencies. Hello.
yeah,
To be
with you.
honest, I really want to be sure
Can hear you.
I'm not speaking gibberish. So first, a callback function. You already know what a callback function is, right? So this is it. They use effects and then it accepts an array of dependencies. So how the use state works is that it has a function and then the state. So anytime you click the function manipulates the state. But use effect, it runs the first time that you open the app. Anytime you open the app, you use effect is going to run on default at first. But then next, anything you write inside the callback function is going to be run if you insert something in the dependency array and that thing changed. So anytime there's a changes in what is in the dependency array, the callback function in the use effect is automatically going to get called. Please let me see your reactions. People should tell me your honest truth if you are confused or not, because it's just 9 minutes and then heading over to use effect. Yeah, David, I like that. So David is very sincere, right? Cool. Nice, Ruben. So let's take time to understand use state first before we fully go into use effect. I think that would be best. So, like the assignment said, you guys should try to build something with JavaScript with use state. Maybe I'll just send in an assignment later for you people, so you guys can have a look. Yeah. Somebody say my network is bad. Can you guys hear me?
So why not just do it as quiz or hands-on practice? Yes,
Yeah, Isa, come again.
so why not do it as quiz? The assignment I want to use or hands-on practice.
Okay, so but you guys can do hands-on practice within this class
Yes.
because I still have 1 hour and I really don't want to waste it. But I have a call that I have to join. But I can just head over to my call and then check back on you guys by 1 hour to see what you guys have done.
Okay. No problem.
That would be perfect. So let's try to set something now we use state. So you people should just spin up a basic React app. And then after spinning up that React app, just create a component. Create a new component. It can be anything, right? I just want you to create an external component and then import the component into your app.gss file, right? That's just what I want you guys to do, like in the next 1 hour. Send your messages. So spin up a React app. Are we together?
Yeah, we are with you.
Good. So spin up
So
a
can you
React
please
app.
come again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good. So you all should spin up a React app. After spinning up the React app, create 2 different components. So your nav bar should be a component, and then the body of your app should be a component. So 2 components, nav bar and body. Then import both of them in your app.gsx file. And then let me see the nav. So the nav bar should be on top of the body. The nav bar should take a different color, style it in the nav bar component. The body, style it in the body component. Put whatsoever you want to put in the body component. Then when I'm back, we can use state to do something with that. So this should just be a trial within the call. So nobody should leave the call. Make sure you do this within yourself. And then when I'm back, I'll ask you guys to share your screen and then we can be able to proceed from there. Hope that's fine. Habib is confused. Okay, David, perfect. Ruben,
So I don't know whether you can just type it. Just type it. You can do so.
please, does somebody who understand, can that person be able to explain it to him or type it on the call? Because I really have to set up for my meeting right now. Good, princess.
You can type it. You just type it.
Thank you very much.
Or you type
So
it.
someone should do that. I'll be leaving the call now, but then I'll be back in next couple of minutes. So I'll see what you guys have done.
Oh, I don't know. Tell your supporters how to find it. No, it's not.
David, Ruben, Rufai, all can help you out.
Okay, sir. So if I share your screen for us, if I can, well, I tell you. Why are you guys afraid? I mean, share your screen for us. Let's just do this. Just a quiz.
Guys, when I give me small minute, I beg, I'm trying to do something now. I will get back to you.
Try and do so. Let's just do it. Sharp. I'll copy out this too.
What's up, guys? I'm back. Sorry, now the clap for me. I beg go. I'm coming. Let me set up a new React code first.
Tally.
Yes, boss. I hear you. I say my set up my React code first.
Okay, okay. Anyways, do you get the complete question?
Yeah, I do. I did.
Okay. Start the
If you share your screen so that we go dey see as you dey set up.
Okay, I come. I can't plenty folders just they open now. They try make I close them. Sorry, guys. Sorry. No wonder. My VPN is on, but they try to do something, the thing they reject. Let me off it on. And so guys, let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen? How about the rest? Hello guys. Respond now.
No, can I hear you? Don't worry, you can hear you.
I'm talking about seeing the screen, not hearing me.
Yeah, okay, well, we can see the screen.
Okay, the topic was to create a new React app, right? Okay. So I already have my code copied. So I'm doing npm create write atlet test my React app. So I'm going to change this one. So let me just say, what name should we give it? Someone to suggest. Should I just write test? Anything. So let's wait for it to.
Just use anything, bro. Just use anything. Just everything.
Okay, let's wait for it to set up. I just hope my network will be fast this time, Sha. Someone is just looking at me. Now, so before then, the question was to create a new React app and two components, an header and then the body. So, so that give you guys the opportunity to like bring out suggestion on how you're going to do it. Me, I already know how to do it, but then I just don't want to really be the one doing it. At least let's all move together so that we know we all understood. So in case anyone did not understand, I can explain and the rest like that.
Just do it for so that we can see, so that we can relate to it. Wait for it. You can create it.
Why is this thing not even loading? What's wrong? I don't know. Let me kill this terminal. Guys, business. Yeah, okay, I think it's working now. So it's going to allow us to choose what we want to install. So you can see vanilla, Vue, React, anyone like that. So many bunch of um framework. So we're going to choose React. And I don't want to install with TypeScript, so I'm just going for JavaScript. Can you all see what I'm doing?
Yes, boss.
Okay, so I'm just going for JavaScript. Okay, so now I've created my this thing. So I'm going to navigate to my directory, my test directory, by using cd, then entering the name. So you can see here, From here, we're adding just API, and then when they enter the directory, they added test to it. So from here, we're going to install our dependencies. You can see they're even showing us here, npm install. Let me kill this without timing. So we have to wait for our dependencies to install. We're going to wait for a very long time. I don't know, like my network is having issues. I don't still think it's network, because if it's network, you guys will not be hearing. It's not even loading. So Mr. Edward, hello, are you there with us? Mr. Edward, she's not here. I don't know. Why is this thing not running? Taking time.
Can
Yes, boss.
I beg no vex. So I actually had a network glitch that time, but I can see now that you are cloning Uber and this thing.
No, this one is a separate thing. I was just using the file, the saving folder. I wanted to clone something different.
Okay. You are trying to create a new this thing, right?
Yeah, I was trying to clone one. You said one JSON file on GitHub. We're using it as endpoint. I wanted to clone it so I can add you guys data.
Mm.
Yeah. It's a running error because this lesson always set it to private. So I can't get access to it except it allows me.
Why is this thing taking time? Why is the
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. Let me try. No, I'm not supposed to take 10 minutes, 10 seconds, so it's even enough.
since you are not just typing create my new app, it's that one that
Yeah.
will take time. This one you already have
No,
this
the
thing. You
dependencies
are
take
using
more time than creating a new app.
what do you say?
Installing the dependency takes more time than creating a new app. Talking, but it's moving very slow. I don't know what's wrong. I think the problem should be from my code editor because I don't understand. How can someone take over? Let me restart my PC first. And guys,
My boss, good morning. How you hear me?
yeah, I'm hearing you.
I'm sorry, like I'm just coming online now. Okay, so about the npm stuff, I think if you use a pnpm, they kind of they save those dependency on your system that like you can only install them once, because using npm they reinstall every node module each time you want to create a new React app or create a new, like anytime you want to install any dependency or um, anything you
Yeah,
want
I
to.
get you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
getting you.
if you use a pnpm, they only install anything once. Let's say that you created one React app now using pnpm, they are the same thing, just performance node package manager. So if you use pnpm to install anything you want to install, if you check well inside that drive that you are using, they will create something like a database, like a file where they will kind of um they will be working at.
Study to
Yes,
study
yeah, everything you are installing
dependencies.
that has not been installed like for the first time, they will push it there. But those ones that have been installed, they will just grab it from that place. So it makes it very very fast, and with low network you can install anything you want to install, because they are not reinstalling everything from the beginning. They are just uploading it from your hard drive, something like that. So I do
Oh,
use it a
wow.
lot, that kind of stuff, and they are very very fast. They manage files very well. They don't duplicate files, but with using npm they duplicate node modules, which means that you can have multiple node modules on your system. But using pnpm, you just only once. They just connect it to the existing ones.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll just try and use that. I think that will be better. I see this one is not. Can I cancel this and start all over?
But the thing is, I think since you haven't used pnpm, you have to install the pnpm, because you have to install it with npm. But for now, I don't think it will only take the same steps, since you haven't run the command before.
Okay.
You
So
need to do something like that.
I guess it also be faster to use now. Why can't you just use your own this thing? So just take over the
Okay,
project.
just switch on your screen so that we can see what you are talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
just switch it so that we can see what you are
Yeah,
talking about.
I'm currently connecting with my phone now. I'm not.
You said?
So I'm currently connecting with my phone.
So
so
from
I'm coming. Let me just refresh my PC. I don't know what's wrong with it. So I'll get back. I'll join you guys back later.
Okay.
David, David, you're recording yourself. David, 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 mute your mic, Jerry.
Sorry, guys.
So, Ruben, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you guys are trying to create React app, Abby.
Yeah.
I think it's
Like,
working on my end. I don't know if I can share my screen. But the thing is, I don't know what you guys want to do. I'm just joining. That's where I'm confused.
Okay, Obed, are you getting me?
Yes.
Okay, we are to create two React components, then import them to our app.js and style it using Tailwind. That is what he said we should do. So just create two components. And Isa have even specified on the comment section, maybe a nav is a navbar and a body. Then you now import it to your app.js and then render using Tailwind. That's what he said.
Okay. Let me check. Let me try. I will share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
yes, boss, we see the screen.
Okay, like, so this is the project. I'm using PNPM already. So now it's telling me to add. So if you guys look at this place, you see progress, resolve, reuse, download, added. But now I haven't downloaded it before with PNPM. I'm just using npm to download anything I want to download. So now I want to download. So I'll use React Vanilla. So if you guys see, it's very, very fast. install. So now the thing now is, so I think I have used it before. If you see, you showing me reusing. It's reusing some dependency and kind of downloading some. To only download 16 dependencies for now. If you guys check, it downloads only 16 dependencies and added other one from my PC. So if you go to this place, so this is it where it will be installing everything. So if you check here, you see PNPM store. I don't know if you guys are seeing it. So this PNPM store is everything that I needed. So this is it here. This is NPM store. So it will be installing everything just once in my project. It will not re-download it again. Okay, let's continue. So now, let me do PNPM run dev. So I think, I don't know why it's not running. It's running from here. So now, to create, now we need to install Tailwind, I think. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, boss.
Yeah.
We are hearing you.
Okay. So now, let's do, yeah, let me add a new listing. So PNPM, I for install, ID as a dependency. I think I made a mistake here. Okay, it's working now. So there is this PNPM command that if you, okay, now if you can see, it's only downloading two dependencies, which is two dependencies is being downloaded newly, but other ones have been reused, have been re-uploaded from my system. So it's very, very fast. So now I'll run PNPM Tailwind CSS init. You will create a configuration file. So see it here. So inside this place, so first of all, I think we'll create two folders. First one is SRC. The SRC already exists. See the SRC here. Okay, inside the SRC, we already have our roots here. Our I'll just delete this one. So this I think we only need app in index.css. We don't need app.css. Delete this one. Delete this one also. Do you even need this one? I think app. We only need main. We only need main. Or we don't need any content inside here. So I'm coming. All these things, I don't think they are not the same thing as normal. I'm not even seeing React.
Hold on. Can you write now?
No, thank you.
We can go down and look and put CSS.
Is anyone speaking?
Yeah, I'm talking to you now.
Okay. I didn't hear you earlier. You said
Say post CSS instead.
Huh?
This post CSS.
okay, post CSS. I haven't really do this thing.
Obed,
Huh?
must we install Tailwind as an npm? Can't we just use the CDN? Must we install?
Does it
And
work?
let's use CDN now.
No,
But
CCDN.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. So.
Tali, can we use CDN?
I can use it on my normal JavaScript, but I don't know how to.
Yes, I haven't tried it in React before. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
so I'll put it in the body
Huh?
folder, the index.html folder. Then you have to do the content.js, right? Yeah.
Say I should.
Try it and see.
You know the thing, is detecting React already. Here you get, but you haven't formatted. That's why
That's your height and width, now. It's not essential.
you say
That's your height and your width. It's not essential.
I should go to my.
Set the height and the width. Height and width.
I want to add something here. It's working.
So
You say that we should create two this in Abi.
two components.
Please, can you walk us through how you set up the tailwind? I think you were moving a bit fast, and
Just
Okay.
personally for me, I didn't really follow.
Okay, so the tailwind we created, we want to set it up, but they say that we should use CDN. So I copied the tailwind CDN and pasted it at the top of the index.html so that we should use CDN. So see the CDN here. If you check. So, but since you know that we've already installed tailwind there, but it's just normal tailwind. I don't know how to configure it to work on React. I haven't installed it this way. I've only installed it on JavaScript, but so that's where I'm confused. You get. So we are currently using CDN now, and it's working.
Are we
But I think
still going to use npm to
do
install it,
to install
the tailwind?
Tailwind.
you can use this thing. The reason why this auto complete is is a kind of this is intelligence. This is why this intelligence is working because I have installed the Tailwind already. Here you get, but I haven't fixed it. I'm using CDN, but I have installed Tailwind.
The reason why
If
that
you check packet.json, you will see Tailwind here. So you see Tailwind version 3.4. But we haven't configured it. If you check Tailwind config, there is nothing working. What we are currently using now is the CDN. Here you get. So for now, the CDN is what we are using. Do you get me?
Honestly, I don't. You were doing one thing, then somebody interrupted you and said you should use CDN.
Yes.
I don't see the correlation, honestly.
This is easier. So now I run this npm init Tailwind. So I've installed it. npm I is for install. Dash D is dependency Tailwind. Install Tailwind as dependency. You see it here. Now the thing is installing it, but I'm using pmpm. So the pmpm is just kind of it's re-uploading the Tailwind from my system. It only download 2 packages from it. If you check here, we see downloaded only 2. So all this stuff. I'm using the npm Tailwind CSS init. This one is just for creating Tailwind config file. So if you see here, it say created Tailwind CSS config file, tailwind.config.js, something like this. So, but now currently we haven't configured. You know that after installing a Tailwind config, you need to configure it to watch every files. Let's say something like you can configure it to watch every file in our SRC or something like that. But now we haven't configured it. What we are currently using now, like what is currently working now, is the CDN at the top here, something like that. So I don't know if that's enough.
I understand.
Okay. So now this is the component here. So I think they said that we should create. Let me create something like nav. I don't know if it will be okay. See. So 2 components. So you should create nav. So inside this place, let's just create a UI and then let's say in this place use something like so inside here I don't know, but we'll just use a this thing like this for now. I don't know if I'm getting it or if I'm not getting it. I think 3 is enough. Okay, we're not exporting it now. So if you go inside our app and Okay, it's showing now. So that we should use Tailwind to style it. So we are currently inside our nav. So inside this place, first of all, let's use a class name. So yeah. So let me just I want to just add color so that we'll be seeing what we are doing. Let me split the system into. Hope you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
It's currently now, so it's still what we are doing. So now I want to use flex on it. So just 5 in between items is center, so that is center all of them. So if you look at the so this is what we will see, something like this. So let's see something like magic. So let's say px. No. So px, let's use something like this. So this is 2 rand from the this side. So we now use something like py. Py is margin top and bottom. So now if you look at it like this, so this is what we have now. So now I will now come to this place also, and I will use flex also. Use item center. So we now have something like this. So this text will be bigger. I think I will use something like text 2 PHS. So then it's kind of it. I will still remove the color though. I'll still remove the color. So let me something like this. So we'll come into this side of the URL. We do something like let me increase the text size first. Text SL. So now let me use something like a 35 center. Or if I use between, I think it will give it the space we needed. Not really. So let's use gap for here. So gap -3. Now, if you can see, the gap is there. So if we remove the color, so we'll have something like this. But currently now is not. Let me add it. I don't know the color we'll add on it though. But so from the parent div, so that we should add something like this color. I think all of them we inherited by default, and the color is not even good. So let's tune the color a little bit. This is something like 600. Okay, now so this is it here. So inside this place we can also do something like nesting. It's not that really important, I think. So do we need to add something like hover effect on it? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, let's add hover effect.
Okay.
Yes, boss.
So now I want to so this is what I want to do. Instead of typing this thing one after the other. So let me just use something like kind of the descendant selector. We are currently using Tailwind version 3. If it is version 4, would have been more. Yeah, so something like, if you use something like this, so now I want to select all the anchor tag, which is all the A tag in this place. Or I don't know if we should add it to the URL directly. Let me use something like to know if it is really working. Test dash red dash 400. I don't know. It's not selecting them. Don't know. Okay. So it's working now. So this is so what I'm doing now is I'm doing descendant selector. So doing this, and this one is for Tailwind version 3, but with version 4, I think it will be very, very easy. Kind of so something like this. So I'm now telling it to select all the anchor tag in this place and add its test like this. So if I do something like this and add over now, change the color of the text when I hover on it. So text dash let me add, I don't know any other color to add. So, but now I think you're now adding it to all of them, which you don't need. No, it's not adding to all of them. Let's just do it directly. I don't want to go deeper into it. There is one class I want to use, but this is just the class. So inside here, to write. Why is it even showing me something like this? Wait. Inside this, add over. So inside the over, add something like test dash. So you see, over on any of them. So you can add transition. You need transition. I think color is what we need to transition. Let's use duration. Duration is just like normal CSS. So add this it here. I think it's now done for this one. So going to the hover. I don't know. I'm done this one. So they just do the same thing on this one. So this is it here.
I'm doing the guy I want to be showing next year. My time come, I'll be showing off.
You said you're saying something. So now what else? Okay, now I forgotten one thing. So because of this thing, this h will be a link. I think it will be a link. So let's do it cursor pointer and something like this. This one also should have a point cursor pointer. Yeah, I'm doing it outside the class. So now, if you do this thing, it will show you something like two React components. So what else should we create now? What else should we create now? No, I'm not in the class. I just joined. So can someone brief me?
Say a body component, then anything of your choice inside the body.
Okay, let's say we um let's say we create another component inside there. Let's say we create another component inside the, let's call it, no. Let's call it uh body dot jxs. So inside the body dot jxs, we should use something like so. So inside this place, we use this thing. We use a. I don't know. I don't know what to add here, but if we can use this, if you can use this, what is it called? This, see, we can use something like, I want to fetch data from somewhere. I don't know if it's allowed because okay. Should we just use a random text? So let's use some random text. So inside this place, let's next a div, or is it correct? So let's do something like, first of all, ediv. I don't know if this thing work in React. Ediv should have a p tag, which will have something like program. So it's not working. No, it's not working in React. Yes. Oops. It's not what I want to create. Let me just do it manually. So, okay, this is it here. This is just, I just created a div. So a group of div, something like this. Let me make it clear. Something like this, div d. So this is what I created, but I did it like 8 times. So let me use random text. So this random text now, let's increase it by, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're already exporting it from here. So inside our app, let's also import it. So what we are, wait. I think we're now seeing error. So body is a capital letter. So we are importing the body here from R. So now I want to change this thing. So the reason why the thing is showing error is because I know it's not a must, but I just want it to be generic. Not a must. Port body. Still showing me slash body. We don't have something like that. So we already have
skeletal body. Still showing me error, which is the error is the body is declared, but the value is never read. Meaning, I don't know. So now it's now reading content from here, but it's not showing content. Oh, so let's import content. So we go back to our apps, not showing no. We don't have any body is not defined at body. Yeah, is it even seeing this body stuff? I think we have. Ooh, I don't know where it's seeing the body again. Okay, we are importing body here instead of content. So it should be showing now. Still not yet. Okay, now here is it. It's showing now. Showing now. So let's go and style it. So inside, I think I'm on the wrong file. So inside here, so since this one is a kind of the parent of all of them, I'll use that descendant selector that we taught the other time. So the descendant selector, I'm telling it to select every direct div of this thing. Let it kind of add it a shadow. Once add it a shadow, which is box shadow. So a shadow, I'll use a custom shadow for it. I'll use a custom shadow. So the custom shadow is RGBA. So now let's use something like 0 underscore 0, which is for the second one. So this underscore is just like something like 0 0. I don't know if I can use 30px. Let's see if it will work. 30px 0.1 on each of them. And guess what? It's not working. I did this a lot, but you know. Only thing in CSS is that okay. I don't think we have specified any color. Shadow. Yours shadow. This is not a color. This is not a color yet. This is not a color yet. So 0. I think from here we need to specify something. So 0ps. No, I don't think we 0px. what is called 0 again, px again, and then 30 px. I think it's not working now. Or it's something like this. I don't know. I haven't. Let me use border first. So you can see the border is working, but I don't know why the scene is working. It's not working. So if you check border, that's something we use spread. Okay, I need to use this descendant selector. Because currently now, if you notice, I'm adding it on the body itself. So, but I want to add it on the direct child. So it's working now. So inside this place, I want to use let's say kind of make it a grid container. So grid colon, which is grid code, let's do it for so something like this. But now maybe something like gap of 3. So inside this code now, I want to add padding top and bottom. Let me use something like 10 so that it will do this thing. So I also add padding. Okay, since let's just use direct padding of 10 so that to add it round, so right round. So permit me to use this descendant selector again because I don't want to go to individual div of this item. So to add a new store, I will just use the div now and I'll add so this I want to add border radius, so rounded MD on each of them. I think it will work, but I don't know why. Not doing anything. Or is there any overflow? Okay, I'm doing it the wrong way. So now if you can see, is now let's use LG because this one is not noticeable. So something like this, you check. So let's use it again. This descendant selector. So I want to add padding around the container itself. So it's like this one is too much, too not good. So something like this. Huh? So are you guys still hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you, Boss Obed.
We can hear you.
Okay. So now, but now you see that I think we can even make it responsive. Can make it responsive, right? Even all these things, we can make it responsive. So all we will do now is I just want to introduce this grid repeat. So let me just so inside this grid column, if you can see my screen very well, inside this grid column, I want to write a custom CSS variable. So I will use repeat. All of us know grid repeat. So this repeat, first of all, I will use auto dash fill. Now inside the auto dash fill, I will use minimum, maximum for the maximum size. So the thing is, it will take let's say a minimum size of 300 px, do not go below 300 px, because if you see here, okay, now the thing have kind of, let me use something like for to illustrate again with go dash 4. So now I know they are conflicting, but we'll change it later. So now you see that this thing is trying to shrink each time I'm coming closer. So that is what we now do for here. So you get, we write custom color that will adjust automatically. So I want to use 200 px and use 1fr here. 1fr is if it pass, so this is it here. If it pass 200 px, it will automatically share the remaining part of the listing to. So we are back to our foreground. So now see what we now be doing. So it will now automatically adjust. So we don't need to write any breakpoint again. So with this thing, so if you go larger, if you even go CC, if you go larger than this one, you see the 4K. Even if you are viewing it on a big screen like TV or something like smart TV or something like that, it will automatically adjust. So we don't need to write anything now. So I think we'll now work on this navigation at the top. I don't know if this shadow can work. Use it, but I don't know why. This shadow can make it more clean. Okay, now what else? So what we now do is we'll come back to this for the navigation. Since we are using a kind of a custom what is it called? So we are using, every of us know that Tailwind is the kind of let's call it a kind of they are mobile first. So let me try that shadow again to know if it will work. So shadow from here. Shadow. So this is what I want to do before, just 0%. So this one is for X axis, I think. So for Y axis, let's do it 0 also. So because the reason why I'm doing this underscore is that in Tailwind, when you want to add a custom color, you don't use space on them. You don't give them space. So to prevent the space, I'm now using something like this. So if you hover on it, we see that Tailwind is automatically giving space when it's being compiled. So for here, if you put space, it will result to an error. So this one is, first one is for X axis. So second one is for Y axis. So the third one should be for the spreading. So the spreading is the amount of time it will spread. So I think we are done from here. We'll now add our RGB color. All of us know what is RGB. So RGB stands for red, green, blue, and alpha. Alpha is the transparent of the color, so which only have 0 and 1. Like between 0 and 1, you can use 0 point. So, but red, you can have anything as red. At red, we have up to 0 to 250. You can tune it up to 0 to 250. So same as green, same as blue. So, but for now, we want to add alpha. Alpha is a kind of the transparency of the color. Let's use 0.1. I don't know. So if you can see, it's working perfectly. So let me remove this thing here. Just box shadow is just to add shadow around it. So if I use something like that, it will be very, very noticeable. So you guys can see. But now let's use. You just need something that will bring it out from the screen. I think this color I've done it. So I want to use 2 here. If you add 3, transparency. If you add 4, to continue to do this thing. So, but if we are increasing from here, let's also decrease the spreading, because here actually deal with the spreading of the color. So it will not be as if we are adding a border on it, but it's not actually a border, it's a shadow, something like this. This one is cool. So if you go back to our, if you remember, in the nav we did a display of flex. So tailwind is actually it is a mobile first. So let's see that we remove flex from this class you are seeing now. We see what we end up having something like this. So that's why we will need, let's see, if we add something like a mobile responsive, something like this. Let's add another TV. So this is what we end up having. So this div now, let me remove every other things from here. I think just any first property. So from inside this place, we now control anything we want to control. So inside this place, so since Tailwind is a kind of utility first, mobile first. So we want it to only be flex on large distance. Let's say MD. So MD is like a minimum of something. It's like a minimum of MD. Okay, you can see it if you over on it. I don't know why it's not showing now. So MD flex. So using minimum value. If you can see now, it's now showing this thing. So MD value is a minimum of 700 and something PX, which means that I don't think is a good idea, but let's just do it to see. So currently, I'm still wait. Let me come down a little bit. So if you are checking our width from here, you see that once we enter 760 something, 768, boom, it turns to this automatically. But I think the screen is still too small from here. So let's do LG. You can customize. So LG now is 1024 px for the screen. So this thing will remain like this until we hit 1024 px. So, but let's make this thing. So LG also item center. So LG also justifies space between why is it not showing anything? So, but okay, it's working on. I haven't reached this thing. So now this is here. So, but initially, let's say we want this particular container to use something like I think our logo will still remain the same. Our logo will not change because we don't even need to apply this container. No need, because our logo will not transform with it. So, but since we have applied the container, there is no need. We don't need to change it. So I'm only changing this guy here. I want this class to be only flex on the container. I think the class is already over. Abi, sorry guys, so the class is already over. Bostali, are you saying something? Are you hearing me? I think we should end the class. I should continue. Okay. So It's only okay, on large. So what we are now telling this thing now is to be only let's say to be only flex when we reach 1,400 peaks. So if you see now, immediately we reach this place, this guy return back. Here you get, so here is it. So immediately we reach this place, it return back immediately. So but now I want to do this thing. I want to do something. So let's say scale x of 0. I don't know how I will do it. Scale y of 0, but not x. So y is actually, you know what is y? Scale y is a kind of vertically. Display y, that's 0 on a normal distance. So you see what we do but this class need to automatically adjust to, since the body is scaling. I think let me use something like 1 and add background color to track it, just to know how this thing is being scaled. Why is this thing doing me like this? So something like this. Get something like this. So item center is only on LG also. So something like this, but let's say we use the scaling to be 1. I don't know how the tailing scale works, but what if you do scale 0? This thing will hide. To hide without, you should just hide it. But it's still, let me use just like hidden to know if. So this is what I want to do now. This is what I want to do. So this is what I want to do. So I want to use the height of 0, something like this. Something like this. So it will be on mobile screen. This is what we want to do now. Since it's on mobile screen, we'll hide it entirely. But it's not what we. It's not. It's not gonna work that way. It's not gonna work that way. But I think if we are using Tailwind, I think I can use scale to do it. But the thing is, this scale is not what we want now, because if we still return here, we are still seeing it here. If you check, the thing is still here. So you see, it's still showing something here. And I don't know why it's still showing it. It's showing something here. But if you try to do this thing, the thing is that it will not animate. And I want it to animate. So here, we do this thing of 0 and I'm trying to hide this thing entirely. So let's say inside here I had a button.
What do you want to hide?
So inside that button I had a span, 3 span. So inside the 3 span class name, I will descendant selector again. Let me just be using this descendant selector for now.
Okay.
Are you calling me?
Yeah.
Okay, you said what?
I said, what do you want to hide?
Huh?
What are you hiding?
So the thing is, I want to stimulate a drop down. Here you get this thing now you are seeing. I want to stimulate a drop down. Let's say that I want to add a button from here. When you click on the button, it will automatically hide. That's what I want to do.
First of all, you have to set a breakpoint for it.
You see?
First of all, you have to set a breakpoint.
A breakpoint. That's what I'm doing. We already, you know, the stay with all this breakpoint stuff is very, very easy. We are already adding breakpoints. Using this MDLG stuff we are doing,
Yeah.
we are already automatically adding breakpoint on it. Share it here.
Yeah. So the case is happening on the small device.
You see?
On small device, it should be hidden.
I'm not hearing you, boss.
On small device, it should be hidden.
Yes, all that something like this hidden.
I saw
But
the
I
time
don't want.
another way.
So it's not, say this thing will not add it as, you not see it as hidden. That's why I want to, if it, I don't know much about scaling in Tailwind, sure you get. But if you said,
No, no worry.
so if it is in this thing, I can use something like a scaling. Let's say a scaling of 0. This one is from the X side, and let's say 1 for the height. Here you get something like this. It's not working here, or I don't know how. If it is in CSS, I can write something.
Why not? Why not just hide it totally?
Yeah,
Why not just hide it totally?
no problem. We'll do that later. But for now, let me just create this thing here now. Later. So I want to copy this thing, but we're using it. So inside this, we will now add. This will add a height of 2, and again a width of 2, and again what am I even doing? Sorry guys, I just want to copy this so that I'll be pasting it. So let's just use W of 2 and then use a height of 4. I think each and every one of these things is using 4px gap. So not even showing. So let's use a BG. Let's use a BG of white. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it because it's supposed to be at the center of the screen. Let me try adding text on these things. Okay. Okay, this is it here. I'm trying to do it on each and every one of these guys here. But PG up. Let me use red color. And so now we only have to this thing here. Don't know if it's because they are not div. Cannot add, because I think these things are inline elements, right? And you know this stuff is, you can see they are not showing. But now let's increase the height to even more bigger, something like this, and I think the height is even bigger. We reduce the height to we can use space in space of y. Space y. Let's use something like 2 dash 1. So we have something like this, but the height is still big. Have something like this, and we can reduce noise. Okay, now this is it here now, but still, since okay now this flex, I think this flex will be on all of them and not just only on this container. Sure you get, because now what we are doing is this guy will be hitting on LG, which is, let's do it on the parent, which is LG hidden. So automatically, once this we activated this thing, it will hide itself. So you get. But what I'm not constrained now is that the thing is not aligning with flex, because the flex is only affecting the LG. So what if we do it something like this? It's still flex, but now the flex is already working. So we should remove everything from here on this thing so that it will work both end. So here is what we're having now. Immediately we switch to bigger screen, this one will disappear, this one will appear. So something like this. So now I think we'll now add on click event from here. I don't know how to handle this one, but I don't know how to handle it. Okay. So now the on click now will add is that the on click now will add is we'll use, I think if you can use I don't know. I don't know if it will work because we are now dealing with JavaScript action part of it. I'm dealing with JSS. So I want to kind of add on click to this guy. I think click to the, I don't know how to do it though. Let's say they already have an error here. Okay. So now we'll create a function from here. I think that function, I don't know, I'm trying to know how we can actually activate this thing back. Add some class list commands. I guess we need a function that will display what the function. I don't know how to do it, but I think we need use state. So now the use state now. How do we? But Stanley, do you know a kind of how we can synchronize this thing?
I'm all right.
Think. Huh? But Stanley, can you hear me? Mm-hmm.